Good morning to you guys. What a beautiful day. It is hot as Africa outside, but we are live. It has been a minute since we have done just a little bit of a patrol. Good morning, guys. I am Trooper Steve, your traffic safety expert here at WKMG. Heck, I'm the only traffic safety expert here in Central Florida. The other one, they just like to change their titles. We are in a very busy part of town, or what used to be an absolute mess part of town. I-4, the attractions area. So from about 528 down to about Champions Gate for years, absolute soup sandwich. And I gotta, if I take pauses, guys, it's because I'm checking myself. We haven't done a non-scripted stream in quite some time. And anytime I talk about this area, I tend to let loose a little bit. So I've got to check myself so I don't slip up and curse right here live on stream. So specifically, on July 19th, we opened a new stretch of roadway out here. The new exit and entrance ramps to the Daryl Carter Parkway. And if you've never been out in the attractions area, the Daryl Carter ran on the outside of I-4. But it would have been genius if it connected to I-4, and now it does. And I wanted to talk before we get out there and we go and demonstrate it. I wanted to talk a little bit of the history of the roadway. Everybody else, you know, they're going to talk to you, let you know about the new opening and all that stuff, where you're going to go. But our job, or at least I think my job, is to dive a little bit about the history of the roadway. Maybe why is it called Daryl Carter? What was it looking like before the new expansion? So let's do exactly that. So currently, I am off of I-4 in this little shopping district. I'm not going to call it a shopping plaza because we've covered this area a bunch of times, where the new White Castle came in, Portillo's, things like that, all located off of like Palm Parkway, Turkey Lake Service Plaza. But if you travel out to the outlets in this area, Daryl Carter is going to change your life. And I want to explain to you exactly why. So on July 19th, Daryl Carter Parkway, the overpass was transformed into a diverging diamond interchange. We've seen these diverging diamonds begin to pop up in multiple locations. Where was the first one? First one we saw was over in the Champions Gate area, and that helped out dramatically. And when I say dramatically, I'm telling you, I haven't seen delays in that area since it's been created. Also, where has we've seen another diverging diamond put into place? The I-4 Sand Lake interchange, right? And now we're out here for the new I-4 and Daryl Carter Parkway extension. So right across from me, a lot of shopping places, restaurants, things like that. But something to keep in mind. This is all part of the I-4 Ultimate and Beyond project. So that new interchange at exit 70 added 3 direct ramps, providing access from both east and westbound I-4, guys. So the innovative design improves traffic flow and safety by eliminating left turns across the crossing traffic, and you no longer need to go to 535 anymore. So if you travel out here towards the outlets, you know that I-4 exit ramp, both east and westbound, that was the exit ramp you would have to take to 535 and then exit there to Vineland, and it would be such a mess. Now, you get an exit early that drops you off directly into this whole shopping area. Now, that project also included both bicycle and pedestrian enhancements, like sidewalks, bike lanes, crosswalks, trying to help make it safer for everybody in this area. And based off of what I've seen so far, it looks like it's going to work. I really am a fan of diverging diamonds. I am not a fan of roundabouts, but a diverging diamond keeps that traffic flowing. So here we are. Right now, I'm on Palm Parkway, northbound, approaching the light here, southbound. No, excuse me. I am southbound on Palm Parkway at the light here at Daryl Carter Parkway. We're going to get ready to make a left here onto Daryl Carter, and our first maneuver this morning, we're going to cross over I-4. I want to show you first what we're dealing with. Something you're going to see a law enforcement presence out here. it is only to keep you aware. Why? Just like they leave signage out when a new traffic light is out. You'll see a marquee sign saying it, warning you of a traffic light up ahead. We saw those troopers placed at Sand Lake and I-4 for a long time. Now, they're going to be placed out here probably for a couple of weeks just to keep drivers really focused. So when you're out here on Daryl Carter, law enforcement, Florida Highway Patrol, state troopers are posted up in different areas. So here's the first part of the diverging diamond, which is really interesting. Instead of continuing straight, you're going to cross over. The left lane goes to the left side of the roadway, and then you have options. If you want to get on I-4 to head east, you hop into the left lane. We have the opportunity to continue straight, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We continue straight. You see more law enforcement located on the other side of the intersection here, and then we continue on. That's a little weird to see an Oakland police officer right there, but that's all good. So in this area, you have all the restaurants that you would normally have to travel to through the 535 area, Fogo de Chao, some of the other apartment complexes and things like that, the Aldi shopping area. But where does Daryl Carter put you out? Where does it spit you out on? International Drive South. So you don't have to go anywhere. You don't even have to touch 535, guys. All right, so we're going to get turned around, and then we're going to use that new ramp. A little history. Why not a little history lesson, right? Let's do one. So I am a nerd for traffic. You guys know this. But let's talk a little history of Daryl Carter Parkway. Every road is named for a reason, right? Or a theme of some type. And when you're out and about in a neighborhood or an apartment complex, sometimes that theme is very obvious. If you live in the Meadowwoods community, most of the time it's going to be some type of theme with woods and stuff like that. But our main roadways, obviously, John Young Parkway, named after astronaut John Young. These have history and meaning. Daryl Carter has meaning as well. And I want to talk a little bit about the history of Daryl Carter Parkway. So first, the infrastructure part of it. The roadway originally consisted of two segments, only from Fenton Street on one side of I-4 and Wildwood Avenue on the other side. So back in February of 2014, Orange County government completed the bridge flyover of I-4, connecting both sides of the roadway. So Daryl Carter at one point was a two-part roadway. It never went over I-4, but back in 2014, in February, Orange County government said, hey, let's connect this together so that we don't have any issues, right? And that we can create a better traffic flow. I'm all about some smart traffic thinking. And sometimes it doesn't always happen, especially with some of our local governments. But when it does, I'm always going to give a good shout out for that. Pull over here to the side real quick. What else has grown out here? The businesses, right? It's blown up. I remember just 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of this area was fields. Now there are apartment complexes everywhere. So it was renamed Daryl Carter Parkway in honor of Mr. Carter. All right, Mr. Daryl Carter, a prominent land developer right here in Central Florida. His firm was the Moriel Carter and Associates, acquired hundreds and hundreds of acres of I-4 decades ago, and it played a really big part in the development and the infrastructure around like this Dr. Phillips area, because if you're familiar, that's kind of where we're at right now. So there's history here. It's not just a random name that we're giving. Mr. Carter, believe it or not, is currently the president of his business, and the firm was founded by his father, Maury Carter. So a lot of history here. For more than 20 years, his company has purchased over 200 acres right here close to I-4, hence why this specific area is called the Daryl Carter Parkway. So little history when you're knowing. All right, so now we're on Daryl Carter, and we're going to use the ramp for the very first time to get onto I-4 eastbound. This is brand new, only a week old and opening. And I'm telling you, There's no traffic. Let's take a look around the truck right now. Right behind us here, barely any traffic. Off to the side, things are looking pretty good this morning. Even the traffic out on the roadway, not a lot. Why? Because we have now been able to thin it out. We've been able to, instead of just a clop of cream cheese on that bagel, we're going to smear it all over the place because we have bigger surface area. Now that traffic gets to flow not only to 535, but to Palm Parkway, up here towards Daryl Carter. Maybe you're going to a place up a little in the central area of International Drive. To some people, this may not be a big deal, but I'm telling you, it's going to affect you whether you like it or not, or whether you're aware of it. And based off what I'm seeing, I think it's going to help a lot of us out. I truly, truly believe it. Westbound I-4 this morning, approaching 535, no traffic. No traffic. I've never seen that. Why? Because normally, all the cars that were going right here are going to 535. All right, so we're now east on Daryl Carter Parkway. We're going to take the new eastbound entrance ramp to I-4 from Daryl Carter here. Turning signal activated. We have pedestrian crosswalks. We have bicycle lanes, things you need to be aware of. It's brand new signage, so no excuse. We have a yield sign. I'm going to slow my speed down. I'm going to look left. No one's coming. And we're going to take this new ramp. Feel like an F-16 fighter pilot coming up on this thing here. But as you're coming here, it's a 2-lane entrance ramp. We know we're going to merge left, turning signal. I move on over. And at some point, this lane is going to end. So I'm not going to want to stay here. But there's also still some construction and men and women out here working. So I'm aware of that as well. So I'm hugging the left side of the travel lane a little bit here. I'm staying away from the right side of the roadway, even as this van cuts me off close with an illegal sheriff star sticker on his license plate. Put that on your car, not on your tag, dummy. All right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to continue. So I'm going to not exit here at SeaWorld because I want to show you what's happening in the opposite direction. But what are you noticing here? I don't know if you notice it. I notice it. There's space. Normally right now, 10, 12 in the morning, this area is congested. We're moving maybe at 20 miles an hour. I'm doing 55 miles an hour without a worry. No traffic congestion right behind me. Everyone following at a safe distance and everyone moving at the speed limit. So this is what I mean when a certain ramp or an extra lane gets opened or built, just because you might not use it, you might benefit from it because you might exit before or after. And now that this ramp or this roadway is taking and accepting traffic, your commute is going to be so much better. So be grateful for some of the construction every now and then. I know it can be a little frustrating. All right, guys, what we're going to do here is we're going to exit onto 528. We're going to pull around real quick and hop back onto I-4 and then head west so I can show you exactly the biggest effect that the new Daryl Carter Parkway extension is creating out here. And if you're joining us this morning, we're covering just a simple traffic expansion that has happened. The new Daryl Carter Parkway ramps along the I-4 area. Takes time to get turned around, so that's what we're doing. In the beginning of this stream, we talked a little bit about the history of that roadway out there. And if you think about it, things are getting better. I keep picking the wrong camera. Things are getting so much better out here when it comes to the congestion in areas that we just despise. Champions Gate. I can't wait for the express lanes to finish out there because I'll finally maybe go visit Tampa. But even the addition of a full travel lane, they added a left travel lane in the area, has helped out things in a way that I don't think most people would have predicted. Drive times have been cut by 10 minutes in the morning, which is drastic. We haven't seen a major crash in that area in weeks. I haven't seen a crash on physically Champions Gate in that diverging diamond since they opened it. I'm sure there's been a minor one here and there. Same thing on Sand Lake. I traveled through Sand Lake the other day on a diverging diamond, and I was in and out. Is it stressful? It can be. Is it congested and compact within that area? It can be. But does traffic move? It sure does. So you want to make sure you're always checking your ramps here before you enter. You want to make sure that you yield. Those yield signs are there for a reason, and then just flow right into traffic. I love hearing that V8 on this results one going nice and strong. As you're taking any entrance ramp, what you need to be doing is focused on the vehicle not only in front of you, but the vehicle in front of that one as well. Why? You don't want to slam on the brakes. You always want to be prepared. Now, common sense would dictate that this lane's ultimately going to end, so I am going to prepare. My turning signal is on. I'm looking at the car in front of me. They have their signal on as well, and we are going to slowly make our way over. That Mazda on the far left is about 3 seconds from getting a clown from me, but we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it just yet. Who's going to get it? No, we're not going to. Okay, everyone started behaving. Everyone, I think people are catching on that I'm going to clown them on live TV. Anytime, little PSA while we're making our way to Daryl Carter, these big, beautiful buses here, they're huge, all right? They can't see you all the time, but they have such a task. Our Lynx buses, our drivers, just trying to get people around, give them space. Florida law says you are required to yield to them. So if they've got their turning signal on, give them some space, let them in. You're going to pass them down the road anyway, all right? Okay, we are now taking the 528 westbound exit ramp to I-4 westbound. What a ramp, 2 lanes, 2 big trucks in front of us. I'm going to create a little bit of a distance here so that they can figure it out and then we can follow them. Anytime, guys, you see that there's going to be a traffic issue in front of you, just back off a little bit. Let them figure it out. We are not their referee. Let's just watch the show, all right? You don't want to get involved in the frustration. So this is the area of traffic that has been affected by the addition of the Daryl Carter Parkway entrance and exit ramps more than anybody else. I'm talking westbound I-4 here as you're approaching the SeaWorld area, the outlets, 535, things like that. Why has this been the more affected area? Because if you were headed to the area where this ramp now allows you to go, you had to wait all the way to 535 and traffic would just back up for miles. Now look what it has done for us. Now, one, what do we see? No brake lights, no congestion, and if I want to exit here now, I have an option. Before, this was all nothing but grass field. I turn on my turning signal, I exit here to exit 70, the new Daryl Carter Parkway extension, and I pull on in. Little thought for you here, guys. If you realize you made a mistake, you can get back on I-4. So Daryl Carter would be the exit here to the right. But if I knew I made a mistake and I needed to get back on I-4, look what happens. You're allowed to get back onto I-4. And then you just simply continue on. But our job today, we're getting off here at Daryl Carter. Exit coming on up. You have troopers out here for safety reasons, just keeping you aware, lights on, getting you just to pay attention a little bit. So as we come out here, you have 2 options, left or right. Left's going to bring me to the outlets. Right's going to bring me over towards Palm Parkway. We pull on here, turning signal. I have my green light. There is no turn on red out here, but we have the green, so we're going to go. Hi to the trooper while we're hanging out here. It's looking good. So if you get yourself out here and you're trying to go to the outlets, you may find that your GPS may reroute you to Daryl Carter. That's totally okay. You're going to be able to get here just fine. It also allows a bigger availability for you to frequent other locations, other shopping centers. It cuts it down by like a solid 10 minutes. I get excited about stuff like this because now I can come out here to I can come out here to White Castle and not wait 20 minutes on I-4 anymore. So guys, please be aware whenever you're driving. Our traffic patterns are always changing. We don't know when a ramp or an exit ramp will open or be closed overnight. They issue those alerts, but with construction going on all the time, it's our job to make sure that we're good to go. Huge shout out to I-4 Ultimate and beyond with this new Daryl Carter extension. There's so much more coming. Obviously, it gets worse before it gets better. Why do I say that? Because construction, we got to close things down to build stuff. We got to remove things to add things. And in some of the cases we've seen, Champions Gate, Sand Lake, and right here at Daryl Carter, I'm calling it a success. Guys, you guys have a great day. Drive safely. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I'll see you guys later.